Galatians chapter 3. You foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Before your very eyes, Yahushua HaMashiach was clearly portrayed as crucified. I would like to learn just one thing from you. Did you receive the Ruach by observing the law or by believing what you heard? Are you so foolish? After beginning with the Ruach, are you now trying to attain your goal by human effort? Have you suffered so much for nothing? If it really was for nothing, does Yahuwah give you his Ruach and work miracles among you because you observed the law or because you believe what you heard? Consider Abraham. He believed Yahuwah, and it was credited to him as righteousness. Understand then that those who believe are children of Abraham. The scripture foresaw that Yahuwah would justify the Gentiles by Amunah and announced the Besorah in advance to Abraham. All nations will be Baruch through you. Verse 9. So those who have Amunah are Baruch, along with Abraham, the man of Amunah. I just before I carry on reading, that's the point. Yahuwah's explaining now, I'm going to make a new covenant or a renewed covenant with the house of Yashrael. It's not going to be like the first covenant. Now this covenant is rooted in Amunah. It's rooted in belief. And with that belief and Amunah, you, and I'm speaking to you, anyone who believes and is immersed in Yahushua HaMashiach. No doubts about the names, not any of these people that are coming in trying to divert us into other names. You'll be rooted in the solid food. It's Yahusha, Yod Hey Ua Shen Ayin, Yahuwah, Yod Hey Ua Hey. Proverbs 30 and verse 4. The Father's name, the Son's name. What are they? You've got to be rooted in Yod Hey Ua. Life, existent life. It's breath, it's life, it's all eternal, never ending, breath, life. Got to be rooted in Yod Hey Ua. And then also we spring forth Yahudah, Ad the Dalat, Yahudah. So it's beautiful the way he's penned that. So those now who have Amunah are Baruch, along with Abraham, the man of Amunah. Yehudi, Gentile, it doesn't matter now. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't matter. You've got to open your heart. You've got to believe, and you got to come to Yahuwah. You've got to be ready now. The world, that this is the awakening now. All the lies we've been fed has all been come from the adversary in control of the earth. Now we're awake. I want to live. I've made the decision. I'm standing with Yahuwah. They can do anything that they want. And I say I'm talking about the legions upon legions that serve the world. They can throw all sorts of black magic and witchcraft. They can do all sorts of juju and everything. I'm standing with Yahuwah. I'm ready. And I'm ready to go out on my shield. I mean business. I'm telling you, you've got to take a stand. It's got to come before everything. I'm sorry, this is where people will not understand how, to have this mindset. Yahuwah's got to come first. So you stand on the word of truth. You stand on the word of truth. You stand on Yahuwah Yahusha. He will fill you with power. And then off of that, then we can then bring others. We can protect. We can shield. We can shelter. But people have got to come in line, because otherwise the enemy will sweep them away. So the order that I didn't finish on the other was talking about the order of how the order was put over the house of Yasharal. Where I've had people messaging me saying, oh, it's sexist. It's not understanding the divine. It's not sexist at all. No, like the Ruach showing me at the moment is that he's using woman in a very powerful way. They were explaining that, like, for everything to come under the house of Yasharal and come under the divine order. That's what the scriptures is really explaining. Not the fact that someone can't speak, you know. It's that Jezebel wants to control. Jezebel wants to control. Jezebel wants to steer people away from truth. Jezebel can be male, is what showed me, but predominantly it's female. You'll find that spirit in people that are captivating, misleading. So here, he says here, verse 10, all who rely on observing the law are under a curse. That's interesting. All who rely on observing the law are under a curse, for it is written, listen to this, cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything written in the book of the law. Right, I was asked a question today, or it might have been yesterday, from one of our beloved Mashpakar, and it was regarding the law. The Most High showed me the 613 laws that Moshe were in the Tanakh were all to point to HaMashiach. Now HaMashiach is the law. Period. HaMashiach is the rest. HaMashiach is the feast. HaMashiach is the way. HaMashiach is the truth. HaMashiach is the life. Everything is found in, he is the cornerstone. Where the building he supports, he is the head over the assembly. HaMashiach is everything. It's rooted. Our salvation is rooted in HaMashiach. Hence the reason why he said, you got to come through me to get to Yahuwah. So interesting what it's saying here, because if people say to me, yes, but you have to do, like, you have to do this, you have to keep this, and you have to keep that. It's Torah. Then HaMashiach here, it says here, you've got to do all of it. So when people say, oh yeah, that part's not dead, it's if you're under those laws, then you have to do all of it. And many people are speaking about it, but they're not doing it. Everything points to Yahusha. Believing and following Yahusha, receiving the Ruach. So he goes on here and following the commandments that Yahusha gives, because that is Torah. So when Yahusha gives a commandment, that is Torah. The Torah is forever. He says here, clearly no one is justified before Elohim by the law, because the righteous will live by Amunah. Faith. The law is not based on faith. On the contrary, the man who does these things will live by them. HaMashiach redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who is hung on a tree. They hung HaMashiach on a tree, or on an upright stake. He was hung with his hands above his head. And then the RCC, like Constantine and all these people, the Tammuz cross. Tammuz was the son of Zeus. Tammuz, and his name in the ancient pagan, this is true, when you learn the truth, ancient pagan was a T like that. And then they came and created Christianity, and they brought the Tammuz cross over, and they got everyone making this sign like the Tammuz cross. It's all Hashatan worship, man. Goes on to say here, he redeemed us in order that the barakah given to Abraham might come to the Gentiles through HaMashiach Yahusha, so that Amunah so that they might receive the promise of the Ruach. So it's the promise of the Ruach. Hence the reason why when people come to us, we are here to help them receive